Alright, in this video I'm going to review everything we went over in last time's class as far as the general overview of the appendecular skeleton. Next week we'll get into the specifics, and I'm going to do a video that gets into the specifics so you can get a jump start on next week. But this is Bob's clavicle right here. It's your collarbone. It's S-shaped. You can kind of see how that's different than a rib, so you don't get the two of them confused. On this flat, round portion, this is the acromial end of the clavicle, and this is the sternal end of the clavicle. You need to be able to know that for next week's quiz. And I won't have it set out on Bob here, most likely. I'll probably just have it out by its own. So you need to be able to see how there's a clear, let me make sure that's good and focused, a good difference between that on the sternal end versus that on the acromial end. So, whole thing's the clavicle, and then those two ends. In class, we just went over that this is the scapula. This whole thing right here is the scapula, and that the part right here where Bob's arm would go in, that is the glenoid cavity, and this is the acromion process. As far as, let me go over here. As far as Bob's arm, quote unquote, this whole thing is the humerus. See that right there? Whole thing is the humerus. The top part right here, which would go into Bob's arm, this is the head right there. Set it back on the table. We said that for every long bone there's an epiphysis, which is the top portion, and a diaphysis. I don't think we got into the condyles. No, we didn't. Not on the humerus. Okay. Then we have the ulna, right? The ulna, that's like your forearm bone. It goes into the humerus here. You can see how it kind of fits in right there. You can tell that there's a difference between the ulna and the radius, which is right here. On the ulna, there's a little notch cut out of it that makes a U. You see that? U for ulna. There isn't anything like that on the radius. Nothing like that on the radius anywhere. So you can tell that that is the ulna for that reason right there. This is the radius. Right here is the head of the radius. You can tell because it's round, just like a head is. They go together just like that, but we'll get into that in another video. Over here, this is a femur. Let me zoom out a little bit. The whole thing is a femur. You can see that. Goes on your leg like this. You need to know that these are condyles right here. This would be like where your knee is right here, your kneecap or your patella. These right here are condyles. Whole thing is the femur. And then this top portion right here is the head. So this would be like your hip socket almost. You would go in right there. Which brings me to your pelvic bone. On this one, you need to know that the hole right there, sorry it's shaky, the hole, which is right here, that is the obturator foramen. You need to know that this portion right here, and let me go over to Bob so you can see it a little bit better, that this portion right here, that this is the pubic symphysis, or I think your book might have it as interpubic disc or something like that. Either one will work, but it's the pubic symphysis. And then you can see the obturator foramen right here and right here. That's all you need to know for the quiz next week. Sacrum, coccyx. This guy right here is the fibia. Let me focus it a little bit better. That's the fibia, and that's really all you need to know for the quiz. Up top right here, though, this is going to be where the condyles from the femur go. So if I were to set it down here for you, it would go like that. It's the femur, and it would fit in just like that. But you just need to know that this is the fibia, and then this tall, skinny bone right here is the fibula. And you can tell the difference between the two because the fibula fibs and says it's the bigger bone, but it's really not. The tibia is, and they go together just like that. Alright, then we have the foot. You just need to know these are tarsal bones, and that when you're talking about the hand, those are carpal bones. Tarsal with a T, carpal with a C. And I believe that's all of the general bones that we went over for last week. So not too difficult. With a little bit of studying, you guys should be able to ace this this next quiz. Disclosure though, on the next quiz, there were a couple of different bones that everybody missed, or not everybody, but more people than I would have liked to have seen missed. So I'm probably going to throw a few repeats from last week's quiz on this one. So it's all getting you prepared for the exam in March. So anyway, expect to see a few of those, and good luck. And there's another video that goes in more depth to come.